Welcome to Career Talk, and today in the studio we have a very special guest, a beautiful lady, Njogu. She's an entrepreneur, she does uniform, and she is going to tell us more about her business. So welcome so much, Faith, in the studio. We are very glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me here.
So who is Faith Njogu?
So Faith Njogu, in a nutshell, is an entrepreneur, as you said, who is currently in business. I've been in business for 4 years now, and I'm managing director in a uniform business.
You said that you do corporate and school uniforms, right? Yes. Why uniforms? Okay,
why uniforms? Reason being, I would say I have an experience in having worked in an institution, a learning institution. I've worked in an academy, which is a school in Utawala. And so I would actually say that working in a school, actually it gave me a ground for me to begin that business, because I was actually I've worked as an accountant. So apparently being there and seeing parents coming and we don't have anywhere to refer them to purchase uniforms from, it was actually hectic for parents. So, and having the blood of business, being in business as I am, actually decided to venture into that business so that I can. Doing business is all about bringing solutions. So I decided to bring a solution to those parents, and also for many others who probably might be going through the same challenges, and also for the purpose of consistency in schools and also maintaining quality for the fabrics that we use.
Okay, how long have you been in the business, in the uniform business?
The business started in 2014.
Yeah, I get to understand that to get your fabrics from somewhere, you need fabrics, good fabrics to do your uniforms for the corporate and the schools. Right. Where do you manage to get your fabrics from?
So we source our fabrics from far and wide, because it's all about quality. So we either get them from locals, and locals mean we get them from an Asian outlet. So we have this Asian guy who actually supplies to us the fabrics, and we also at times outsource them from outside the country. Yeah, when it all depends with whatever fabric and what kind of uniform we are actually manufacturing. So if it is corporates, we have a specific source where we actually get the fabrics from.
And how do you manage the consistency of the fabrics?
Yeah, that is all about I would say now being in business for 4 years, we've been able to distinguish the correct fabric, the quality fabrics. So it's all about being consistent in what we are offering to our clients and making sure that we are more into quality other than any other thing. So we are consistent in qualities, and we are also, with time, we have come to understand and to learn the fabrics and also to know the best fabrics in the market.
Are you the one who does the designing? And if not, who designs your uniforms for the corporate and schools?
Okay, we have a designer currently who we work together with. The designer is able to come up with the best designs for the uniforms, because we have different kinds of uniforms. With the organization, it depends with the organization and the uniform. So we have a designer who does that for us. When it comes to corporates, we have a designer who is able to design corporate uniforms. When it comes to schools, so mostly you find that in schools they already have set a uniform standard for their schools. So we trend with them. But if they don't have it, an upcoming school or a new institution, then we are able to design the uniforms for them. We have someone who is trained in that and good at that.
Okay, and what exactly do you consider in designing?
What we consider is, what is the purpose of that uniform? We have currently ventured into providing PPEs, that is personal protective equipment. So if it all depends with what kind of uniform an organization is in need of. So that also gives us a basis for.
Okay, you said that you did entrepreneurship back in school, right?
Yes, yes.
Does that have any benefit? Has it helped you in your uniform business at now?
Oh yes, it has. Okay, I have done, my undergrad is a HR course. So I majored in HR, that helps me, of course, with the way I relate with my employees, because I have several employees. So it has actually, it has added value to my organization, that course. And also, now that I have done, I also proceeded with the master's. I'm a master's graduate from KU in entrepreneurship. And that also has helped me in terms of marketing for my business, and also in terms of actually relating with my clients, relating with organizations. I would say yes, it was not a waste of time. It really has.
Now that you've mentioned something about marketing, what exactly is your market?
My clients are, I tend to work closely with schools. Those are learning institutions. We tend to also work closely with manufacturing industries, and also construction industries, engineering, in the factories and industries, and also, corporates in terms of, you see, corporates is broad. So we work closely with schools, with hospitals, we work closely with hotels. Yeah, it's broad, because uniforms actually, it's broad and it's wide, and you'll find that most of these organizations have now embraced the idea of uniforms.
Faith, I would really love to know how uniforms affect an organization positively.
Uniforms, especially when they are branded, they actually have several advantages, and they bring actually a new look to the organization. And most importantly, some of the importances of branded uniforms is that they bring uniqueness for the organization, and it also they actually build team spirit for the employees. So when employees are clothed in branded uniforms, they actually work together and they actually relate well with each other, knowing well that they belong to the same group. It also acts as a marketing tool for the organization, because when an employee is out there, outside the organization, he or she is able to, someone can also read the brand and also know the kind of, there is such kind of an organization that exists. You also I tend to believe when you're in branded uniform for a specific organization, you tend to behave. You're well-mannered, bearing in mind someone is able to recognize you. And yes, it also helps an organization to stand out in terms of branding, in terms of the fact that your brand is well represented out there.
So do you think uniforms can boost someone's self-esteem?
Yes, it can. Because you see, when you're in uniform, it means you are part and parcel of that organization. So being part and parcel of that organization, the sense of belonging gives you some self-esteem, and also gives you it builds your spirit, because you at least belong to a team. Everyone wants to belong somewhere. So the fact that you already belong to that organization gives you some pride.
I get to understand that uniforms can boost your self-esteem, but can uniforms limit you from something? Can it limit you in any way? Can it limit an employee or a student in any way?
Yes, and I believe that is a good thing. When it limits an employee, it's actually a good thing, because your employer will not be out there and will not be out there looking at what the employees are up to or what they're doing. So the fact that it brings some limits is in this case bringing some limits to some of the places that you'll tend to go, or some of the behaviors that you'll tend to do when you're all alone. So to the organization, it is actually an advantage, because you'll want to behave your best when you're branded.
How do you manage to market your business?
We actually have different platforms where we market our business. We're in social media, which is actually the trending thing right now. And we also have, I've also ventured into different networking groups. That is, I have different groups where we actually go network. And trainings also, when you turn up for trainings, I tend to meet people with different businesses. So it also gives me a platform to market. And also referrals, they actually have done us good. We've actually doing uniforms for one organization and they refer us to a different organization. Yeah, I would say right now, as per now, Yeah, referrals it's quite something for us. It has actually worked for us.
What are some of the challenges which you've faced in uniform business?
The consistency probably in the supply of fabric. You have to be sure that when I start with this fabric for this organization's uniform, this fabric will be consistent in the market. Otherwise, there are those fabrics that just come for a while and then they disappear. So that's to us is quite a challenge, because you have to do research and get to know that there is enough stock for that fabric. We also have probably some of the challenges that we also face is getting a good qualified tailor who gets to know what he or she is doing. Yeah, that to us is quite a challenge. So the ones we have, they have actually gone through so much training for them to actually be where they are right now. So we're still trying to beat that up. And also another challenge is, of course, finances. Finances is quite also a challenge, because when you want to grow, to expand, so at our pace, we're growing with the pace that we're a smaller pace, but of course, yeah.
And how do you manage to handle the competition in your field?
Just being quality, as in doing quality work, that helps us in beating our competitors, and also being able to deliver on time. Yeah, being sure that when we tell the client that by this day the uniforms will be ready, we try to and make sure they are already delivered by then. So, and probably some of the other ways that that have helped us also in beating our competitors is doing quality work.
And what would you say about your prices? Are they affordable, expensive?
I wouldn't say we're expensive. I would say we're standard. Yeah, we are standard. We're fair. We're fair. We're able to cut across. So yeah, we are fair. Considering also we do quality work. So yeah, I wouldn't say we are up there. We're so expensive. We are affordable.
Well, you've heard from Faith Njogu. We're going for a short break. Yeah, and don't forget to follow our social media handles, still to comment. Follow our Facebook account, that's Champions TV fan page, Instagram account Champions TV Kenya, Twitter account Champions TV Kenya, and still don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Champions TV Kenya. We'll be back after the break.